Whoops. Oh, had to unmute yourself then. G'day, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Live. And yeah, good to have you back with me and join back. And if you were with me there, this just before there with our last guest there, Rowan, and I hope you enjoyed that episode there. It was absolutely fantastic. With some really amazing encounters there, which was absolutely fantastic to hear about. And again, thanks to Rowan for joining me on that one there. Don't forget, guys, go and hit that like the button, smash that thing as hard as you can without cracking your screen, of course. Go and share the podcast out wherever you got it and where you want to share it and friends and family, whatnot. And don't forget to go and tell your friends about the podcast. If you have had an experience there, be sure to go and hit me up there and get you on the podcast there. I'd love to go and hear about your encounters and strange and bizarre and wacky sort of things that go around in this world there. But anyway, look, let's get cracking this there tonight. We've got our good little friend here of the show there, Triffon from Unlocking the Code. He's joined us once again, mate. Welcome back.
Mate, how you going?
Oh, going right, mate. Yeah, going good.
Well, look, you dragged me back on the microphone again. You know,
I did.
We've been trying to hook one up for a little while, haven't we? It's not like it's it's just trying to join the dots. However, tonight we've got something a little bit different because, look, obviously anyone that's listening, please don't hesitate to ask us questions or put in any comments. Always enjoy that with these shows. However, I've got a bit of a presentation tonight that I gave a couple of months ago now, and I put the presentation together for, I wouldn't say skeptics, but for, what are we going to say? You know, not skeptics, normal people that don't, may not believe. You know what I mean? I put something together, but it does show a bit of history, and I know you're interested in your history and how we can join some of the things together that we've seen recently. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about the body in Mexico. Alex is here. How are you, mate? Yeah, I don't know where you want to go to start with, but yeah, when you're ready, we'll crack on into the presentation.
Yeah, that's right. Like you sort of took my thunder there because I was going to say you did a presentation for a first time, mate. And
yes,
how'd that go for you?
Yeah. Oh, it was good, man. It was good.
I was going to intro to you.
Ah, sorry, mate.
Sorry,
no, it was good. No, it was good, man. It was interesting. It was good to get that monkey off my back. You know what I mean? And it was completely random people, nice people. They had some interesting questions. We only really got about 2/3 of the way through the slideshow in the time that I had, so I didn't sort of get to tie it all together the way that I really wanted to.
Yeah.
However,
you didn't get to the climax.
No. Well, the thing is that the stuff that's going on, there's so many different perspectives of it, and there's a much larger picture. And look, we've tried to discuss some of this on the show before, but we sort of, things derail and we have a bit of fun. So I thought for tonight we could try and get, and look, we don't have to finish the slides tonight. We just get through as many as we can, and see where we end up, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Like obviously, everyone who's sort of into the whole topic of the UFOs and what's been happening around the world, especially regarding the US and Mexico at the moment, they're like, NASA's sort of come out there saying, "Hey, look, yeah, we're looking into the UFO sort of topic there." And as usual, as to be expected, the same thing as the American Defense Department's coming up with, like, oh, we're looking at these crafts here, but we don't know what they are, but we're going to keep going on the ones that are identifiable. And sort of keep away the stuff that is is unidentifiable. It's like, can we focus on these things, please? Stop trying to tell us, like, what these things are.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a lackluster report from NASA where they said they were looking into it, but they weren't really paying too much attention to it.
And they're transparent too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, they're transparent. Right. Well, if they're that transparent, give us the camera footage from the space station. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different. One of my experiences, I saw something approach the space station in like 2008 or something. When you used to be able to watch the live feed of it back in the day. There was another Arrow report that came out, and I think the word I was thinking of, sort of preparing my thoughts for tonight, was compartmentalization. Like I think they just keep splicing it. Because on the flip side, I do keep an ear on the Weaponized podcast, which is Corbell and Nap, and a few other little pods, just to get a couple of different alternative opinions. Look, I think probably the most interesting thing, and the reason it's interesting is because it got taken out of the news very, very quickly, was the Mexican bodies, right? Because that dude submitted the report. No, he had doctors look at it, and the doctors basically said that it wasn't from around here, right? And then you didn't hear another word about it. Okay, I know that. Someone said that, you got to send it to proper professionals. I mean, doctors are doctors. These guys live streamed it and they basically took samples of it. and it wasn't from around here.
Yeah,
And
apparently it's
and part
1,000-year-old or something as
yeah,
well.
and you got to remember where it was found too, Anthony. It was found in Peru, and there's some stuff in the slides we want to get to later that there's a whole basically the Paracas skulls is what we're going to look into later to a little bit of a teaser there. However, all the hominids, the Homo sapiens, the Homo floresiensis, the what's the big one? I can't remember now. They leave out the Paracas skulls, which it's an entirely another genome, but the thing it has in common with that little skeleton there is they have an elongated head,
Mm,
right? And actually a proper elongated head, which is bigger in its CC than a general Homo sapien head.
yep.
Um, and so this story is as old as time itself. There's been a lot of stuff lately. It's like, oh, it's drones, it's this, it's that. Um, I wonder whether we crack the code. I wonder whether we can replicate some form of anti-gravitic technology in drone form. Like you keep those spheres keep turning up as well. I've seen a few
Yeah.
really good videos of those spheres turning up in weird places, doing runs over airports and bits and pieces, and not just in America, like over war zones, but also I can't. Where's the one I saw the other day? I don't remember, but yeah, it's interesting. I think some of them are drones, but what we got to realize, well, how about I share screen, mate? Do you want to
Let's do it. Let's crack into
let's
you.
crack on? All right,
Into
let's do that because I think I'm starting to talk about stuff from the slideshow because
it.
and we can see here basically what I named it, right? The UFO UAP phenomenon, alternative origin, and discoveries down under. The reason the discoveries down under, there's an origin story down here that is very interesting and does involve potentially extraterrestrial influence, right? It's like how we the how are humans human is an interesting question, whether it was interference or evolution. And this phenomenon, it goes back now. Like I said, the stuff that I've got here, I started with this because we need to understand there is yeah, the my fairies are watching. Hello, girls. Hello. Uh,
I thought that might have been the case when you thought it.
yeah. The notion that science and
Hey, girls.
spirituality,
Sorry.
the notion
Continue.
that's all good, mate. That's all good. They're pretty excited. This is the first time they've watched, so that's pretty cool.
Ah, well
Uh,
done. Welcome.
the notion that science and spirituality are mutually exclusive does a disservice to them both. Now, Carl Sagan said that, and it's obviously a very powerful statement. But I think with the UAP phenomenon, all right, which is what I like to call it, there is science and spirituality involved in it. If we
Absolutely.
actually go back into the stories, because there's the weird side to the UAP stuff that we've spoken about a few times here on the show, and I dragged up some stuff here. I mean, that's actually in Australia, the one on the left hand side there, okay,
Yeah.
which is your classic greys. This one was found in Europe somewhere, okay. This is in the Middle East. And this is the thing. When we go to Sumer, there's all sorts of references in the Sumerian texts and bits and pieces into beings from the sky, and their astrological understanding is unbelievable. Some of the stuff there. There's a few episodes in the back catalogue there where we talked a little bit about that. And there's all these sightings all over, right? And again, we want to see different spaces. This is France. This is, this. I'm pretty sure this is China or Japan. This is in Europe somewhere. And there's all these discs in the sky, that they would see, and they have the same characteristics. And you can sort of see the disc shape with the thing on the top and the lights. It's the
Mm,
same story over and over and over again. I mean, this is 8th century, right? This is a tapestry from the 8th century there. These are drawings from 99 BC, right? I
so it's
mean,
really early
this
on.
that's really early, right? I mean, and you fast forward to when I gave the presentation, I said, "Who likes the Foo Fighter band?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, I love the Foo Fighters." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. What is a Foo Fighter?" A Foo Fighter is what they gave the thing that they were fighting in World War II. That's what a Foo
Yeah.
Fighter is. It's the balls of light that they would engage with over war zones in World War II. That is,
Yeah.
and there's hundreds of reports of that. So I think you know, the whole, it's military secret tech. Maybe we cracked the code, maybe we didn't. However, we need to understand that this thing and what we're looking at goes back a long, long way, right? And these things have been seen, and and this is only just a snapshot, mate. You know, like here's another one. This is some of the early photos, right? So this is 1783. I don't think that looks like what they call it, an Evan type or whatever it is. It's like almost stamped, that one, right? 1937. Okay, you can see it in the top there, and these are all these images. The aim was with this stuff was you can Google this stuff. You don't have to DuckDuckGo it. You don't have to do anything else like that. You can Google this stuff and see these. These are true, unexplained images, right? And that was the aim behind some of this stuff. 1945. You know, speaking of Foo Fighters, there's one right there. You know, these are the things. The McMinnville photo, we know that one. That's one of the most famous ones. You know, one of the other comments I've heard a lot recently, you know, Joe Rogan on his podcast has basically been asking every guest what they think about the UAP stuff. And one of the things that comes up consistently is it's only in America. No, it's not. No, it's not only in America at all. It's all over the world. It has been all over the world for a very long time. You know, and like some of these photos that we're looking at and this imagery that we're seeing is evidence of that. I mean, the French in particular have got a very detailed program looking at the UAP stuff. You know, in Asia, in Japan, there's a whole province, like a whole temple, where it's basically you go there to see UAPs, right? There's all these UAP stories after Fukushima and before Fukushima. All this really and pretty amazing light, like dancing lights, you know what I mean? Like 5 lights dancing in the sky. You know, plenty of evidence of that. You know, we need to, you know, I've tried to say it a few times here on when we do these ones, but we need to suspend our belief systems a little bit, right? And widen our gaze. You know, we got to, you know, whilst yes, you know, a lot of the things, you know, we see on the page on Facebook, yeah, are they number balloons? Yeah, some of them are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, we need to understand that this phenomenon is almost buried into our psyche genetically. There would be genetic memory with some of this stuff. You know what I mean? And you know, we look at. Oh, here you go. So this is some of the. So obviously, when I did the presentation, this is some of the links for the videos. I don't think we need to do those tonight. Most people, everyone that has been here would have seen most of these videos. Yeah. That's the hearing one. That's the Tic Tac, the Go Fast. The swarm data is pretty interesting. That's probably. Have you seen the swarm data one where they off the ship?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a little bit of that. I think I have seen a little bit of that. Yeah, that's
it's like a 5-minute one. It's got cool.
Was it the Roosevelt ship?
Yeah, the Roosevelt stuff. Yeah. Yep. I mean, you know, when we talk about, you know, there's not that many. The sightings are accelerating, or probably more to the point, the data from the sightings is becoming more available. You know what I mean?
And that's the important thing with these sightings too, the data behind it to help try and, you know, bring more credibility to what the hell they are seeing. That's what we need. So the data helps with the science of this whole thing, which is very important.
Right. You know, and the Mexican hearing, like I remember when it came out, everyone's like, oh, well, you know, they just embarrass themselves. What everybody needs to understand about Peru or South America in general is that with every single sweep of the LiDAR drone, they are finding more pyramids, more highways. Like these highways, Anthony, they run for tens of kilometers in a dead straight line between cities.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
Under no joke, under the jungle. They estimate that South America at one point, it's millions now. It's 100 plus million people existed in South America at one point with the amount of stuff that they're finding under the jungle. With every single pass of the LiDAR, right? You know, we need a LiDAR, Anthony. We only need about 20 grand, mate. We'll get a LiDAR drone.
Or if anyone has access to one, feel free to go and hit us up.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, we either need one or we need someone who knows where one is. Because I think there's some interesting stuff we could pass over some of the bushland down here.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks through the foliage, man. It sees straight through the foliage underneath all the trees and stuff, and gives you what's actually underneath there. And with every single pass in Peru, in South America, all over there, they keep finding complexes and complex geoglyphs, and they keep finding like I mean, you understand too that the Amazon is planted, don't you? It was actually cultivated. The
I
Amazon
remember hearing
jungle
something.
was
Yeah, I think you told
cultivated.
me something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's just got out of control.
yep.
However, it's cultivated, right? The civilization that lived in South America, be it the Maya, be it the Aztec, be it the Inca, be it the ones that we don't, the Olmec. You know, the Olmec's probably the interesting one. Like they've got weird, big, massive heads and stone helmets, and
Oh, yeah, I know the ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're magnetic. These stone helmets, like
Mm.
compasses and stuff, go crazy around these big, massive heads, and they don't really know anything else apart from that. Apart from that, it's the Olmec. The time before time, the people before people, right? Um, yeah, absolutely. There's tunnels all through there. I mean, part of the stuff that we could go into, what people have got to realize is that this is only one presentation. I have made four, and one of them has to do with tunnels, right? Because there is tunnels that connect underground from Turkey to South America to Europe to everywhere,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So for
Um,
those who are listening to the audio version of this, Alex has asked in the comments there, like, oh no, he didn't ask. He
mm,
mentioned they recently found a hidden tunnel under one of the major pyramids there over in
yeah, yeah,
Peru. Is
over
it
in
Peru
South
or is
America.
it South
Yeah,
America? There's
over in
somewhere. Yeah,
South America. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, look, this one I'll just go. We'll flick through a couple of these because we don't need to see this stuff. But for those that haven't seen The Phenomenon or Moment of Contact by James Fox, you're doing yourself a disservice. You really need to see those two. I like the way James Fox does his stuff. Yeah, the Netflix stuff, the Westall Witnesses, that was actually a little shout out to our mate Grant there
bring
on
it
the
back.
Unexplained Rundown. He did a really good job on that. And because you got to remember that I was presenting to people who I thought weren't believers. So I thought, what can I give them to just send them down the rabbit hole? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And must listen podcasts. Look at that, Encounters Down
No,
Under.
look at
Do you know that
that.
bloke? Hey,
No,
hey.
no. I hear he's a good looking bloke though.
Yeah, he's a media starlet. Apparently, he's in magazines and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, I'll have to go and get myself a
Hey,
coffee.
I didn't know if you'd have me back on now that you're a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, the one, I don't know whether you've listened to these either, Anthony, right? But what you need to do if you haven't is you need to listen to the Serpa Brothers. There's
I
about
think I've given him a
11
listen once.
episodes. Yeah, man, you need to dig in, right? When you're in the truck, in the loader, you need to
Yeah.
dig in to Marty Gaza. Okay, there's about 11 episodes. He looks at it from the spiritual, paranormal phenomenon type point of view, and he is a wealth of knowledge, and he's also like he's in the Hall of Fames for monster trucks, right? The big suspension in the monster trucks.
Oh yeah.
He designed all that stuff.
Oh
Like
wow.
he's some crazy dude. But very, very knowledgeable, and I side with Marty. So anyone that's listening, I've listened to every single one of his episodes, and some of them you got to listen to multiple times because it's that weird and deep. And there's like 11 or something like that. Like you've got some listening to do. Yeah, Encounters Down Under, he's all right.
Yeah.
And the JRE stuff was up 2028. So this is just some of the stuff that I was sharing with these guys.
Yeah,
But
nice.
where we went, and this is something that I know that I've been promising to show you that I haven't shown you or the listeners, right? Encounters on Netflix is one that came out after that, Alex. Yeah, and I do. That's actually a really good one. That's a recent one. That actually had the Fukushima stuff. One of those episodes. That's like a 4-episode series, and it focuses a couple of American ones, but a few around the world as well. But this is Otis Carr. Okay, now Otis is an interesting character. He was a protege of Tesla. Okay, before Tesla, we owed Tesla everything, but he died penniless and broken, and they raided his house for all his plans when he died. I've often wondered what the world would look like if Tesla survived. You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
was embraced as opposed to shunned. But Otis was and the thing about Tesla, as far as anti-gravity is concerned, he wrote it in one of his diaries in the late 18, early 1900s, don't quote me, that basically he hadn't figured out the propulsion system and how to actually do it correctly. And then there's another entry in one of his diaries in like 1928 saying, I figured it out. Didn't tell us anything, right? But
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
he said he figured it out. But the thing that Otis is holding there, that's the Utron, right? So that's the thing that makes it work, right? The Utron. Look at this. We could get fancy. Okay, this little thing here. All
Oh,
right.
look at that.
No one really knows what that is and how it works, but more importantly, what is it made of?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and the fact that you can actually hold it and it powers this whole thing is another
Well,
big
there's
thing.
multiple of them. See them here? You can see them like,
Yeah.
here's, all right. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look, and here's here's the Neutron electrical accumulator. All right. And what we need to understand too about anti-gravity tech is that up until 1952, 1953, if you can go back to newspapers, and it was the next big thing, man. Anti-gravity tech was going to be the next big technological,
Yeah, they're advertising it.
advertising it. Then about 1954, 1955, nothing, right?
Gone.
Otis is basically 1959. We did a multi-part series on Otis T car.
Yeah, is
To
it? Well,
be
I'm at 115.
115, yeah, that's very, very interesting, right? I mean, you got to remember Tesla messed around with all sorts of chemistry and electricity and magnetism. Like, what was he able to do? You know what I mean? What was he able to do?
Mm.
But yeah, long story. No one knows what these things are made out of, right? Because we're going to see. I've actually got I've got the blueprints, right? Actually, Grubb is still down the anti-gravity rabbit hole. I got in touch with him a little while ago.
Oh, yeah, I've
Um,
been meaning to catch up with him a little bit too.
yeah, he sent me a heap of videos, and I haven't had a chance. So get out of Grubb if he's out there. But there's a big Utron in the middle here. So you see, got the little ones around the edge, and then there's another one in the middle here. Right, we're going to see some more stuff as we move forward. But Otis, long story short, with Otis, he built several prototypes that actually flew, and potentially more than one large one as well. Like this here, okay, if we actually, all right, we do that, that's him standing next to it, right? He built one, he built a big one, okay?
Where to go?
Uh, right. Well, this is the thing, right? So there's a guy called Ralph Ring, okay, who's still, well, with your celebrity status, mate, you should try and get him on the show.
Sure.
However, he was an engineer that worked for Otis, okay, and he said they did enough. He did, like, so these things could be piloted remotely, like drones, or the big one you could go into. And they did a couple of test flights, and Ralph Ring was in one of the test flights where basically it sort of started humming, and then they thought they hadn't moved, but they were 30 k's away, right, in the blink of an eye. Yeah. It's an interesting one, right? It's so fascinating. And here we have some of the blueprints, right? On the right-hand side here, these are actual blueprints to build a OTC X1, okay, which was the name. And the thing is, it looks a little bit like something, doesn't it? Does it remind you of the Nazi bell there, Anthony?
Oh,
Looks
yeah,
very
it does
similar,
actually. Yeah,
doesn't
when
it?
you think
All
about it,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it does. This is the thing. These design patterns are very interesting. I mean, obviously, it's 59. The Nazi bell was discovered after the war, I think 46, 47, when Roswell didn't happen. I often wonder whether, Roswell was someone we crashed something, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
real,
well, that could be it too, eh?
you know?
But
And
then they come
again,
up with the bodies and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway.
yeah. But see, again, we can see here, like, these are the blueprints, right? You got the major accumulator in the middle, you got these. And basically, as he described it, once it started, it wouldn't stop. Okay. And it basically creates look at this, nature's invisible space mechanics as used in the design of gravity generators. Okay. So he used these Utrons and this thing in the central. Basically, for want of a better description, it looks like counter-rotating magnetic plates, right? Because I
Mm,
actually have analyzed these blueprints. Like I said, someone give me the resources and I'll build you a UFO. I'll have
mm,
a crack at it anyway. Like, I've got a working understanding. And the thing is, me and a good friend of mine, we messed around with perpetual motion magnetic engines and stuff like that for a little while. That was another little rabbit hole. There's a book in here somewhere with the blueprints on that. However, um, this technology was real. Okay, this is no joke. Okay, these are OTC X1. This is one of the drones. All right, and this is the larger one. Okay, and this is from Ralph Ring. Excuse me, this is the guy I was talking about. Um, yeah, he was the engineer that helped build these things. But apparently, he sent these drones on hundreds of test flights. Okay, now he did have plans to fly to the moon and back. Okay, um, however, the day that he was supposed to do that, he had a collapsed lung or something. Um, and of course, everyone says, "Oh, he was faking it." I'm not too sure how you can fake it. You know what I mean? Like that sounds pretty
Mm.
serious to me. Um, and not long after that, you'll be surprised to know, Anthony, that not long after his couple of flights, and it basically became real. His technology was real. Uh, he got done for fraud. He got sent to jail for 25 years for 10 grand fraud, and he was a fraudster and a trickster and a con man. And yeah, the FBI needed everything, you know,
How
because that's what they
convenient.
do. They took everything, and they separated Ralph and all the engineers and everything else like that, and they basically told them not to talk to each other ever again.
Uh,
Uh, and Ralph Ring, the engineer, this is from the Ralph's photo collection. He's getting old now. I tried to find him on the interwebs a couple of years ago, and I couldn't find him. But yeah, he's like in his 70s or 80s now. But yeah, he was an engineer that worked on this stuff. And there's the Nazi bell. I just thought I'd have that for
yeah.
comparison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, it's not like that we haven't, we come back to what is this thing? I mean, you've got to, the curious thing about Tesla is there's literally a CIA document that says Tesla is from Venus. It's,
Yeah. Well.
you know what I mean? It's, I don't know where to take that one, but it's,
I thought women
it's
were from
interesting, man.
Venus.
Yeah, yeah. But men are from Mars, apparently. However, yeah, look, well, we need to understand this anti-gravity tech is something we've been looking into and aware of for quite a while. And by the looks of it, Tesla had it figured out. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And Otis then took that forward. And yeah, here's the literal plans from the Nazi bell that they found. Okay, like they were obviously going to use it as a war machine, as we can see here in the artist rendition down here.
Yeah. I think that's the
However,
biggest problem too, though. Like, everything that we sort of advance in technology-wise, we want to weaponize it,
mm,
which is the shit thing. It's
which
why we always have to try and weaponize everything.
the common thing with the phenomenon, well, not the common thing with the phenomenon, but the nuts and bolts side of the phenomenon is they don't engage generally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're observing. They're not being hostile. And the only times that you would say they have reacted hostile, that's not a word, is it?
Mm.
With hostility, is when they've been tried to be tracked or attacked by us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. And like I said, yeah, we did a multi-part series on Otis a little while ago. Very good episodes. Yeah, very cool. We actually read his manuscript that he put in code. It's a very strange document. But yeah, he left a manuscript in code. Message to the 20th century is what it's called. And it's all this prose and poems, and then there's like weird technical specs in there. And basically, if you can decipher that,
It's encrypted.
it's encrypted.
Cryptic.
Yeah, it's cryptic. Yeah, if you decipher that book, you can you know what everything basically you know what a bloody neutron is. I think is
Yeah. Right.
because many people, if you start digging in the rabbit hole on YouTube and in different weird places on the internet, you can find videos of people trying to replicate the OTC X1
Yeah.
and using electromagnetics and countermagnetics and stuff like that. And look, there is some very, very fascinating ones that look like they get them to hover, right? There is something there. But because no one knows what the accumulator is, or more than that, probably what it's made out of,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's a fascinating one.
I'm sort of curious though, if like his idea was to try and get to the moon there, but
Yeah.
it's based off anti-gravity, which it's going to affect the gravitational waves or something, for the Earth and that
Mm.
whatnot, to be able to propel this machine. Could it even get to the moon?
Yeah, well, this is a discussion that I've had a couple of different times where it's like, does anti-gravity technology, so are you,
Allow you to travel in space?
yeah, that's right. I mean, are you, because the thing is, when we talk about anti-gravitic technology, it also means that matter doesn't matter, right? Which is the reason we see these things go into the ocean. We see there's let's say the best Tic Tac video I ever saw, and I only ever saw it like twice, and it was a long time ago. It was when those DJI drones. Remember the big DJI drones when they first came
Oh,
out?
is that the one going through Africa?
Into it. I don't know. It's in a gorge. It's in a
Yeah,
gorge,
I
and
know the one
this
you're talking
dude's
about.
just test flying his drone, and this
Yep.
Tic Tac thing just comes out of the screen and goes straight into a mountain, right into a cliff face,
Yep.
just disappears.
Oh no,
And
no, so I'm thinking of a different one. This one where he's
yeah,
had the drone up, and you can see a object coming from the distance a little bit, then flies. Even does a bit of a curve in it, and then zips straight past the drone itself.
yeah, right. No, I haven't seen that one. This one's
That one
pretty. It was
there, that's like, well,
yeah,
that
and
one.
this is
That raises a lot of questions.
yeah, this is the thing. Like the anti gravity means antimatter. So if you're creating ether tech is a term that we used when we were talking a lot about this, because there's 5 elements, not 4, right? So there's earth, air, fire, water, but then there's the ether, man, and the ether is the thing that holds everything else together. Okay, now if an anti gravity motor generator basically runs on ether, then yes, it could fly in space,
Yeah,
theoretically, right? I mean, me being the anti gravity engine expert that I am, yeah, it's that's my understanding. All right, or do you gather enough speed to punch yourself out of the atmosphere, and then you
yeah,
just hook up to the gravity on the next planet or the next? You know what I mean? Like you're directing your
yeah. The projections is like
energy
you're yeah
projection towards there, and you're sort of hopping from one to the
relying on
other.
that.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It's
Worst part of the thing is like, can you stop?
yeah. This is the whole point too, right? I mean, how do you stop? How do you move? I mean, Ralph Ring, his account, and forgive me, it was we did the episodes on it. However, his account was basically he sort of felt like a wobble within himself, like something did happen, and then it's yeah, it came back basically. North Side Hawk.
Yeah,
You like your anti gravity, mate? That's excellent. It's a fascinating topic, and what's fascinating about the anti gravity stuff as well is it seems to be like the last year of the chaos, like 2021, 2022. There seemed to be a spike in people looking into anti gravity tech and free energy devices and this sort of stuff because that's also real. It's there's plenty of interesting, very fascinating, proven, practical things you can do to generate some power, harnessing the magnetism and the gravity of the Earth. Right.
mm.
Um, yeah, look, that's an interesting comment there, right? Yeah, Bob Lazar said they thought UFOs warped time and space in front of them. This is what I mean. If you're punching a hole in the ether, okay, planets don't matter, matter doesn't matter. Therefore, if you're in the ether, then nothing matters, right? So you should be able to just go straight through it. Essentially, you're using it to travel, right? I think that's what these anti-gravity motors work on. You know, as I say, ether tech is a term that we coined a little while ago.
Mm.
But I just thought, I mean, and again, this is only a snapshot, man. I've got probably 30 or 40 more images of blueprints and actual 3D blueprints you could feed into a 3D printer. Like this stuff is you could do it. The problem is
Yeah,
we don't know what the Neutron is made out of, right? We don't know. Um, maybe we could, we could probably, nature's method of storing energy in mass, right? So it's, and we're talking about charge, discharge. He's creating a bubble, basically.
yeah,
It's creating an electromagnetic bubble, and you can sort of see it there as well. But again, what is this? That's the Neutron, right? That's the major Neutron.
yeah.
What are the smaller neutrons? Okay. Oh, you're a drone pilot, a LiDAR drone pilot, Northside Hawk?
Hopefully with the lidar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I looked him up and I'm like, oh yeah, it's only I think it was like 25 grand, but it's one of those big spider drones, those massive,
Oh yeah,
cool
yeah.
looking ones.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, the
I thought I'd
couple
get a
of
surprise
passes.
guest in, mate. Alex has been there in the comments. I thought, well, you know, bugger it, let's get him on and see what
I
his
was gonna
opinions are on
say,
this.
I nearly, I didn't want to stay. Well, it's your show, but I was gonna say,
That's all right. So,
oh look,
Alex, welcome back, mate. It's good to
Hey
have you back.
guys.
hey look what the cat
Thanks,
dragged
guys.
in. How you doing,
Yeah.
mate?
Good. How are you guys?
Going good, mate.
Yeah,
Going good. Yeah, I thought you'd have a pretty good opinion on this as well. Like, yeah, obviously, you're getting cracking in the comments there. It's like, you know what, we need to get you in there, get your own opinion on there. Like, you've obviously looked into some stuff here that Triffon's been covering here. What are your thoughts on all this so far?
I don't know. Like I'm sort of looking at it because there's a lot of things that I haven't really done a lot of research on. But like, as I said in my comments, like, could this be that element 115 that what's his name?
Bob Lazar.
Lazar.
Bob Lazar. Yeah, is this the thing that he was talking about? Maybe just to throw another spanner in the works. Like, what if this is the stuff that powers the pyramids?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, man.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah. Look, that's where are the power crystals? Yeah, I mean, and these are the things we need to talk about. I mean, we talk about Tesla for a second. Tesla basically said he got his patents and all his ideas were sent to him. You know what I mean? Like he waxed on a lot about the Muse, and the fact that it wasn't him that was actually coming up with this stuff. It was being sent to him. You know what I mean? And again, if we go back, like we said in the earlier slides, 99 BC, rock art dating back 20,000 years, 30,000 years. There's it's something that's been around us for a long time. Is it a pre-cataclysm technology that we're trying to recapture? Because we've got to remember in the Sumerian texts, when they talk about the cataclysm, they say that the cataclysm they're coming, but they knew it was going to be so bad that they fled the planet. Right? I mean, that how do you join that together? Right? And there's no real other way to translate it. Like some of those Babylonian astronomical things described Earth as the seventh planet. Right? The only way you get Earth as the seventh planet is if you're coming from the outside in.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? And again, this, our understanding of astronomical alignments and all that sort of stuff, it goes back a long time, but also as this is from the 50s, with these, as I say, he got his technology working, and basically what Otis did is he let the government know that he was working on the technology, but he said he was not going to release the totality of the technology to anybody unless it was open source or what would be considered open source back in the day. And of course, the American government of the 50s didn't take too kindly to that, so they just threw him in prison and stole all his stuff. You know what I mean?
Typical.
Yeah. If we could get into the bloody into the Smithsonian, it'd be a great thing, I think. But again, these blueprints go on and on. I've got many more of these things. You remember I was putting this presentation together for a different audience.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're going to take a left turn here, unless you boys want to talk any more about the technology or the anti-gravitic stuff, or you want to wax lyrical about anything else like that. Because we're going to take a pretty sharp left turn.
On that drone footage there, I wanted to show you.
Do it.
So I'll see if I can share this up there. And
I might have to stop sharing. Hang on.
That's all right. Yeah, I can do it from this end here. If I can do that one there, and click that one there, and then go booyah. So I was doing a bit of bad rendering there because I think we're taking all the bandwidth here from doing our stream here. I sort of clicked it along quickly, and I don't think there's any sound to it. That was really interesting. So it's doing a really bad sort of rendering. So that's it there. Now these guys sort of go into a bit of a detail with it. Get the sound going if it works. Oh, I'm probably gonna get done for bloody copyrights now. Shit.
No, all this TikTok stuff's okay.
So anyway, we'll go over here because I got kicked off YouTube there the other week. So you can see it's coming from
if you
there.
don't get kicked off YouTube, you're not doing your job properly. I don't think
That's
my
right.
opinion.
Well, I am doing my job if I do get kicked off, you mean?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Now go back to it. Stop that nonsense. Yeah.
No mistakes
Have
around here.
Yeah,
That's
no.
great.
I
Seamless.
don't know why it's rendering so badly. I had to go and steal for it's the only one I found of it so far. And it's like, it's from some other doco. Unless I've already been kicked off, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't want to work at all. Bloody
Yeah,
hell.
the spinning
Here we
wheel
go.
of
Hang on.
death.
So this thing is hooking.
This is
when it
good
wants to work.
podcasting, boys.
It's
This is
great,
great.
isn't it? It's I love it when things work.
We have the technology.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
And they went to the moon. Bless. So there you go.
Yeah.
Look at check it. You can see it there. It's coming from miles.
Yeah.
So this is going to rule out insects, bloody anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got I'm over it
You
now.
missed it.
Maybe
Yeah.
share it to the page, mate.
I will.
Yeah.
So where are we?
Well, hang on. That looked
Shush.
okay. No. Yeah.
No.
Look, man. The anti-gravity stuff. I think it's, as I say, with the resources, I could build you one, or try to. I've got an idea what the Utron might be, and it could be, depending on how you spin it, like it could be a polarity thing as well. You know, it's there's so many different things that it could be. However, I thought when I was doing this, so can I take back over, mate, or do you want to?
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just still wondering if we're still live and if I've been booted yet or not.
No, we're still live, mate.
We're still here.
Oh yeah, we'll be live, but the other
We're
people they won't know.
No, live.
They'll be like, you disappeared. What's happened?
Oh.
Sorry. All right, where'd your thing go? Did
Hang
you
on.
kick it off? Did you?
Yeah, why can't I? Oh, here we go. Seamless technology, use of technology here. We know what we're doing.
Yeah,
Apparently,
100%.
absolutely.
is that
So it sort of makes it like because that drone footage I attempted to show there, it's not overly large, but this thing is hooking.
Yeah.
You can actually like they look right deep into it.
Well, I
And you can
don't
see it
think.
sort
I
of
mean,
come right
those.
from the back of the mountains there.
Is it
Curves
one of the
along and then-
balls? Is it one of the balls?
Well, that's what we're trying to work out. It doesn't really give
because,
the
I mean,
detail of that.
those balls don't look very big. You know what I mean?
No.
Like they don't.
It's like the one
they
that,
don't look very large.
Yeah, you know, Ross Coulter's one there. He did his second episode there with his doco there. He had some guy over in the US who claimed to have one of these metallic balls. Whatever's come of that, I don't know, because that was meant to go under forensics there and check out if the materials and whatnot. But it's like then it makes me wonder, like, okay, so you got this technology that you had there, with the anti-gravity and all its components there and showing that sort of stuff. And how do these little orbs manage to fly around with such a small, like they're tiny?
You know, I think. I mean, if you, I mean, these drones.
How do you incorporate
I mean,
that into a sphere?
look at that though, right? So I mean, if that's sitting on a workbench, okay, these drones were like they made small ones. I'm trying to remember, they made like that's a 4 foot or 5 foot one. That's like version 2. But the first ones they made were only like 2 foot wide. You know what I mean?
But they still would have been saucer shaped.
Yeah, I think because that was Tesla's design, right? You got to remember this is Otis using Tesla's work, and most of the things that were, if you were researching it, as I say, you know, if we go back,
You follow the designs of the plans.
you know what I mean? Like these are the things that were seen, weren't they? You know what I mean? So the disc shaped thing is
Yeah,
a
14th
something
century
that's-
one there is an example.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. It echoes, man. And there's all sorts of stories. Again, this is just a tiny little snapshot of stuff that is easily verified unknown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it was just basically to try and point out that this phenomenon, this technology, it's not unknown to us, but I don't think it's ever been unknown to us. Right? I
Yeah.
think it's very much a something that's been ever present in the human existence. Right. And I think where we're going to go now, do you want to switch gears, boys? Or do you want to, yeah.
That's all right. I'm just thinking too, like maybe the spheres are a more an advanced version of these.
I would say
whatever
a sphere
these
is a
are.
drone. Well, look, I wonder whether the spheres are ours, or ours is in plural
Yeah.
ours. However, yeah, I wonder whether the spheres are ours, because I do think there is an advanced tech side to this, and I think that's one of the big things that they're trying to hold back. Because if they admit that they've had this tech for who knows how long, that's a genie you can't put back in the bottle.
That's right.
And it's fascinating. Like, obviously, we hang around and we talk with the people that we talk with because we're like-minded. Look, again, if you have a faith that, whatever it is, the Judeo-Christian, Islamic, it's all the same. That's just that'll probably, there you go. Now we're kicked off
Different
YouTube.
face.
Yeah.
However, yeah. However, it's that is still very strong. That mind. I've had some experiences here in Australia recently where it's like I didn't realize that the whole fundamental Christian thing was still a really big thing, but it actually really is. And that would, if UFOs or UAPs truly were real, they do really have bodies, and let's pretend for a second that all that they're telling the truth, that would really freak the beans out of a lot of people. Yeah, like that would really, and because we don't hang around in echo chambers, so to speak. However, the idea that that is real and that we are not alone doesn't scare us. It doesn't, it doesn't bother us at all. I recorded small, fast objects while filming my RC planes. Oh, link a video. Yeah, do that. Do that. Because that I think one of the things I like about the current exposure of all the different footage and just the admission that this stuff is real, one of the things I really like is that it's destigmatizing it. You know what I mean? Like,
That's the big thing.
and like our celebrity host here, That's Life magazine.
Oh, stop
He we're destigmatizing this and allowing people to share their experiences, which I think is very important, right? So, pop quiz, boys. What star system is that?
Is it the Pleiades?
10 points to you, Alex. It is, mate.
Go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was going to go that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because that's your go-to. You're the Pleiades man. Oh, that's
I am the Pleiades man.
Go. That's right. That's right.
But the thing is, boys, it's not that I'm
from our point of view. Sorry, from our sky.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. Well, what we see is that. Yeah, you sort of see that hook like that,
saucer shape. The sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of see that hook shape. That's a close-up picture of the Palladian star system. And look, the only reason I'm a Pleiades man is because every indigenous culture, see, two distinct sides. However, most indigenous cultures, their origin story, particularly Australia, South America, like there's all these different indigenous all over the world. There's a Palladian story all through Asia. The Maori and the Islander cultures and all that sort of stuff. Their origin story is that the 7 sisters of the Pleiades were chased by the 3 brothers of Orion across the stars to here, where the Pleiadians couldn't exist here on Earth because they had a different makeup, okay? And they took the Homo sapien, or the most advanced Homo sapien that was here, and they genetically modified us to become what we are now, right? And the thing is, intervention versus evolution is a very fascinating topic, okay? Oh, this is where I went. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, you wouldn't be able to see it in the camera anyway. I've actually got a tektite. I've got an Australite tektite, okay? So the story goes, and this is, again, I've promised our Subaru logo is that star system. I was wondering why someone said Subaru.
Yeah, I'm like, what's Subaru? Is it really?
Is it really?
I want to check this out now.
Yeah, someone put the Subaru logo up. I want to see that.
Put it up now.
Someone find the Subaru logo. So this is the story, okay?
All right. No.
Is it the Pleiades? I don't know.
There's only 6 stars. in the
Yeah.
Subaru logo.
Pallades
logo.
is
Yeah,
7.
hang on, I'm gonna share it so everyone can see this. I don't see the
yeah, man.
familiarity, but like maybe, no.
Maybe there's only 6 stars there. The 7, but see the lucky number 7. You know, lucky number 7, number 7, number 7, number 7. Right? There's 7 is a number that echoes as well. We can get into
I like
that.
the idea of it though. I did like the idea that it was.
Yeah,
a Subaru.
I was impressed, Mish. If you were right, I like the. It could be, you know, the thing. Well, what is the Subaru? Why are those stars there? Now we
Yeah.
need to know what's the background of the Subaru.
Here we go. We're diving down this rabbit hole.
Yeah,
They know something.
Yeah. What's the Subarus? So, so the story goes, okay. So the Pallades came. They genetically modified us, mainly out of Australia. This is the primary source. And the thing is about Australia. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, I'm about to say get fucked.
What?
So no, Mish is actually onto something here. Fucking look at this. Hang on. Sorry for doubting you there, Mish. It didn't seem feasible that. I'm going back to share screen again. Sorry to cut you off, mate. But this,
hang on. No. This is important stuff. I didn't know that. I don't know that.
Look at this. Subaru is the Japanese name for the Pallades star cluster M45, or the Seven Sisters, one of whom tradition says is invisible. Hence, only 6 stars in the Subaru logo, which in turn inspires the logo and alludes the companies that merged to the great FHI. I'm not sure what FHI is, but
wow, Mish,
well
done. Well done. That's great. Well done. I did not know that.
No, I didn't really look at anything like it though.
Yeah,
it's kind of squished.
It's kind of squished.
I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, well, there you go.
Wow. Well done, Mish. Well done. I'm impressed.
This is why we do this shit, because
exactly.
This is why you guys listen.
Exactly. Thank you so much. That is. Now I've learned something. That's it. Show's over. No.
Yeah. All right, Subaru, you're on next week. There, we want to know the answer to the more.
Yeah. We're we need to get in touch with someone from Subaru, and we need more information. That's why Subarus are so good, man. They got Palladian technology, right?
Yes.
Love a WRX. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That nice little note to them, don't they?
Absolutely.
The motors are just
but why are they still relying on petrol to go and run though? Like, why can't we get the advanced technology?
Yeah, where's the anti-gravitic Subarus? Well, I saw a sticker the other day. She bought
one because of that. That's commitment right there.
There you go. I love it. That's great. I saw a sticker the other day. What happened in Back to the Future? In 2015? Where's my flying car?
Yeah. Where's my hoverboard?
There's my hoverboard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I need at least a hoverboard, if not a flying car. Which, if you look at the thing is though, right? Let's take that, right? Back to the Future. Technically, it's maybe not anti-gravitic, but it's definitely pulse generated technology. You know what I mean? We're still, there's still something there with that. So the story goes, boys. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, the Palladians came and they basically modified us. However, they were at war with the Orions, and one of the common theories is the Orion's belt. Where's the transporters? There you go. Look, D all the above is what I'm chasing. However, they were at war, right? And so this is Bruce Fenton exogenesis theory, but it was also through it was a lady here in Australia, and I can't remember her name. Oh, that's very terrible. She passed away recently, pretty old. However, the indigenous, the indigenous story down under has a lot to do with this stuff, yeah. And basically, what happened is that the ship exploded in orbit, okay, and the ship was made of basically crystal. It was a crystal spaceship, the classic crystal spaceship. It exploded in orbit and rained down onto the planet. Okay. Now we're looking at the Australasian strewn field. Okay. So the blue on the left hand side, there's another one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
There you go.
Back up. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Because look, I've got a bit of Tektite. It's not here. I should have. Well, you couldn't see it. It's a little black thing. However, what's interesting is if you go into the records in NASA, because of these tektite fields, they admit that there was a big, some big crystalline structure in low Earth orbit about 800,000 years ago. Okay, it's interesting, right? Now you can find these tektites everywhere. Okay, but the story goes, right? Well, Bruce Fenton basically followed this rabbit hole. Okay, and he's like, well, if it exploded in low Earth orbit, then maybe there's bits on the moon. Now, look, we're going to just leave the fact whether we went to the moon or not for today. Okay, we don't need to go there. However, let's say we did go to the moon. I think we did, right? However, they brought back samples that if they were found here in Australia, we'd call them australite tektite. Okay, so there's actual physical evidence of it. And the other strange part of the story, and again, if you, the exogenesis theory, there's a YouTube link there. 780,000 is what it's called for those playing at home. You look it up on YouTube, Bruce Fenton. It's about an hour. It's very, very good. He's got a book out and all that sort of stuff as well. However, these tektites, they look a bit like this, right? My one looks almost exactly to that. Okay, so mine's a little bit rougher than that, but they look exactly like that, all like this. And the reason they're shaped like this is obviously when a meteorite hits the Earth, you're looking at 17,500 Ks, boom, right? These things just fell into the planet, okay, which is the reason they made these teardrop shapes, right? Because they weren't going fast. So they just exploded and just fell into the planet. Now, this one here in particular is very fascinating. We might come back. I don't know. I did too. So look at the coloring in this, right? So let's, again, what did we say at the start? Let's suspend our belief systems for a second, okay? Let's pretend what we're saying is true. So there is an alien silicon spaceship from an advanced race made out of silica, which, don't forget that everything that's helping us communicate with each other right now in 3 different time zones is silica, right? The screen that you're looking at in your phone, in these microphones, like that's the thing, right? Along with crystal, quartz crystal is the thing that's allowing us to communicate as well, right? Doesn't matter how advanced the technology gets, the receiver's a tiny little pure piece of quartz crystal, right? That is allowing us to actually do that. And you're looking at we're looking at each other through what? LCD or liquid crystal display screens, okay? So, we don't have any idea, I don't think, what that really is. That's not a story for now. Let's pretend for a second that this is true. A whole ship exploded in orbit, right? Rained down all over Australia. It'll be in different shapes and colors. Now, most of them are found in this black, yeah? Right? Actually, before I get there, the other cool part of the story is that they basically started a war on Earth, and for some reason, Earth is fascinating. Well, I heard of something the other day that the reason Earth is fascinating is because we have wood, right?
Really? Wood?
Yeah. Well, gold is there's meteorites made of gold. You know what I mean? Every element. Our biological, our biosphere on this planet is probably what makes us unique. You know what I mean? However, basically the space police came, and again, I'm Aussiefying the story, okay? So the space police came and basically said, if you don't stop fucking around, we're going to throw rocks at the planet, all 4 sides, and then the game will be over. Okay. Now, whoever these races were, they didn't stop. They found out. Okay. And about 770,000 years ago, there is evidence of a multiple bombardment on the planet, all 4 sides of the planet at once. Now, the likelihood of that happening, like the likelihood of being hit by one big space rock, exactly, right? Multiple bombardment impact on 4 sides of the planet. Again, this is mainstream, corporate science. This is not, we're not casting the stones to get this information. This is their story that lines up with the actual origin story of most indigenous cultures on the planet. Now, so these ones here. Now look at that. These are weird, right? Now these are stones that I wasn't allowed to hold these. These are in a blanket. Okay, the strong boys had these stones. I don't know
Oh
whether
yeah,
they still
Stephen
do
Evans
or
Strong.
not. Stephen
Yep.
Evans Strong. Yep.
Yeah, they're very
These are their
protective of their stuff, aren't they?
yeah. These are their stones, right? I went to one of their seminars one day, and the reason I like this one is, and the reason I took photos again. There's more photos than what I'm showing here, but this is what we got at the moment. Whatever that, we would say it's an A, but look, it was made with a single pass, something very sharp
Oh yeah.
that basically melted the stone. Right? See that? And those grooves are about, I know, 3-4 mil deep.
Is there one above it too, like up top? Move your cursor up there, mate.
Yeah, you can see one
yeah,
across there.
there, yeah.
Right? So there's something made this mark in this stone in one pass, right? Now, the strong, I don't know whether the strongs have made this connection, but that coloring of stone there, right, looks a hell of a lot like that. Okay. And that's just one example that I've found. Because remember, we're talking about a ginormous crystal spaceship. It's not all going to be made out of the same silica or the same structure that this is.
Just on that one
right?
there, though, could that be mixed with iron, though? That's just sort of got the corrosion to it, like the oxidization to it.
Yeah, well, this is the whole point too, right? What's this thing made out of? It's not. Is it all going to be crystal? Probably not. There's going to be some sort of ores, or you know what I mean, different supporting structures within this ship. Again, we're pretending that it's true. That Moldavite's very interesting as well. Is that the Libyan glass mesh? Is that the yellow glass or the green glass? Is that the stuff that's found in the desert? Yeah. Because I could talk about the glass as well if you want to do that, because that's very fascinating. But it's very similar to these tektites. There's glasses found everywhere in different places, and they're a form of what we would call trinitite. Yeah, the yellow glass. Yeah, wow. I'd love to see a photo of that, Mish. That'd be great. I haven't seen a proper picture of that yellow glass. That'd be very cool.
Ta-da!
There you go. Look at that. See, sometimes the technology works. So yeah, there's this yellow glass. There's the Moldavite, which is not from around here. That's extraterrestrial. And they find that in different places. But this yellow glass in the Libyan desert, apparently there's just sheets of it, and it runs forever. And we, as I said, what I was saying is we would call it a form of trinitite. And the reason we call it trinitite is the only reason we identified it was after the Trinity explosion, when we detonated the nuclear blast, the first nuclear bomb. It created this glass, which basically, that fuels the nuclear war theory from back in the day. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, we discussed this last time, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look,
we've
discussed most of this, but I've got some pictures. You know what I mean? Just sort of
to actually give a bit more
context.
It's sort of made me question too. Like, I think it was Avi Loeb who did some searching in the Papua New Guinea area. It was Avi Loeb? I'm pretty sure it was him.
Could be.
Went on the recent expedition there. He was looking for meteorites and such like that. Apparently they were dragging. I'm not sure if it could have been tektite, but he would have found something like along those lines. So it makes me wonder: did he find this tektite as well? Because it's sort of up in that area. There's
there's
more up
Papua New
towards
Guinea there,
Japan and that more than anything. But
there's Papua, because if you look there, hang on, I'm going the wrong direction. You can see the direction.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to go up to PNG, sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would say there'd be some, but see, Papua New Guinea is interesting as well. You know what I mean? They talk about beings from the sky. There's that jungle is, we could start talking about PNG. However, they have their own stories. Every indigenous culture has a story about beings from the sky. Okay, this is the whole point. It's not a new idea. And I think, presenting it like this and sort of joining these dots is very interesting. So, yeah, this, as you can see, it was done in one pass, right? And it was a very strange stone to hold. I had a very interesting experience with these stones. I won't share that tonight, but it's not for tonight. However, maybe another day. However, see these markings here, right? There's been stones, one found in Canada, and I think one found in Europe that basically mirror this stone, because these are all angles, okay?
Yeah.
Right, and these are actually degrees. I've got some more research somewhere where I've actually got the degrees of these stones. And the Strong Boys had that. See this stuff here looks like a glue or something like that. There's some of it in the back of it as well, and there's some of it in this one. And they had it tested, and it's of an unknown origin. Right. So I wonder whether these stones are actually tektites. Right now, these bunch of stones, and the Strong Boys have taken care of these stones and have some sent to them and all that sort of stuff over many years. I wonder whether they're tektites, right? You know, it's an interesting question. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they're not. You know, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. However, you know, it's just a facet. I believe they're tektites, and if they are tektites, it opens it up. Like it's. But see this here too. The other reason I like this as well, because you know, again, the UTC research all joins together. There's a hieroglyph, that an Egyptian hieroglyph, for what the tool that they use to do hieroglyphs in stone, and for want of a better description, it looks like a soldering iron. Okay. And this, you know, this looks like something that has melted the stone in one pass, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what you know, what is that? How did it do that? You know, like it has melted the stone in one pass.
Too.
Yeah. Yep. Very fascinating.
I was going to ask a question on this too. What are your thoughts on this too? With the second stone there on the right, could that be some sort of forms of help with the navigation with those sort of
it's a map
on it?
Yeah, it's a map, or it's navigation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's some sort of map or directions or navigation. And as I say, there's three other stones,
degrees or something like that.
Yeah. There's three other stones that have been found around the planet that weirdly match these, that look almost like different stone, but the markings and the degrees on the markings, very, very, very similar, right? Apart from 2 or 3. But yeah, it's some sort of map or directions or something like that. Now, again, we've got to remember.
You're right.
Yeah, you go. You're right.
I was going to say, I wonder if if you actually got like a ruler or something and you measured these markings, are they like how pinpoint are they like with the measurements?
Well, I think that the problem is you need to know where 0 is, don't you? Okay, This is the thing, right? Where's 0?
If you grab one line and then you measure to the other one there and see if it sort of matches up with the next line, is that sort of 0?
Yeah, the Strong Boys have done some interesting work on this, and look, I respect their work. They've done they've got an interesting interpretation, but I respect their work for sure. They're putting in the time.
I was just more so saying, like, if whoever's done these markings, right, like, what's the technology they've used to sort of measure out these markings to try and, for whatever purpose these are.
Yeah, that's right.
They're just random scar markings or for whatever, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, well, that's and that's the thing. They look deliberate, though. You know what I mean? Look, if you look at that something's done that over multiple passes. Yeah, you know, maybe we could do that, right? And see these ones, see that one there, and this one, so this one here, and that one there look very similar to that there, don't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's similarities to how they have actually done it.
There's a purpose to it.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. And the thing is, I mean, how many of these stones are still out there, right? How many have been picked up and gone and thrown away? How many have gone through? How many have gone through the grader at bloody, at Moranbah? You know what I mean? Like, it's it's interesting, man. It's interesting. So this actually, Alex and I discussed some of this stuff. Evolution or intervention. Now, the more and more and more that I look into it, I side with intervention, because we evolved. Our evolution accelerated dramatically, right? No one knows. our hubris knows no bounds. However, we also don't know what makes me, Alex, and you, Anthony. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We don't know what powers our consciousness. We don't know who we actually are. And more than that, we don't know why we are the only upward walking hominid on this planet. And the thing is, I think, and Alex can speak to some of this stuff. We're not really designed for this planet, are we, mate? You know what I mean?
No, we're not.
I think we
No?
discussed this last time we had the we were all together. We were talking. I think I brought up Mars. I think even you guys.
Yeah, we talking
Yeah.
about Mars and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would think that so like we could swim better if we're on a planet that was made of 2/3 water. Why do we have the ability to communicate and articulate and receive, create all the crap that's surrounding us all right now, and no one else does? You know what I mean? And look, Darwinism, for a bit of fun, if you've got some time, dig into Darwinism because it's a bit of a laugh. Okay, but basically, Darwin knew the people that ran the big schools in the British Empire as it was back then, and they adopted Darwinism because he was popular, right? Darwin didn't go very far. I think he went to Madagascar and then he went home again, and then he created his theory of evolution. Right now, it's obviously more detailed than that. However, as with most scientific fact and inverted commas, it's built on a bed of sand, basically.
Yeah. So just for those who don't know what Darwinism is, I've had to go and search up myself there to get a better description so I can explain it. So it's basically a theory of biological evolution developed by Charles Darwin and others, stating that all species of organisms arise and develop through the natural selection of small inherited variations that increase the individual's ability to compete, survive, and reproduce. So basically, our genes are mutating over the evolution to better ourselves.
Yes. However, when we talk about evolution, have we observed evolution in nature?
No.
Not really. The monkeys are using sticks and tools now. They say that monkeys are advancing into the Stone Age, but we need to remember that we videoed the monkeys advancing into the Stone Age. So what if the monkeys are just watching us? Right?
Yeah.
They're using camera booms and whatever else in the jungle to film the monkeys. So they're just, But is there evolution of a? Yeah.
You had someone in the past that's shown these monkeys what to do, and they've sort of, over the generations that they got lost over time, been taught to that say the tribe of monkeys or something, over the hundreds of years, like we've been around.
Look, absolutely. And the thing is too, are we all hominids? Yes, we are, right? However, some of the stuff that actually was after me and Alex did our last show on this stuff, I didn't realize that, say you take the great apes, any of the great apes, we do not share a single bone with any of the great apes. Not a single one. Right? So how can we have evolved from, using Darwin's theory?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is that even possible? Right?
So on that though, is nearly all the monkey species sort of not relative, like similar in their own structures as well?
Yes. The great apes are, and the smaller monkeys are. But you got to remember that a chimpanzee, the size of our children, would be able to rip your head off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is
vicious little bastards.
Yeah, but they're strong, right? We're not as strong as the monkeys are. We're just not, right? A 4-foot adult chimpanzee will literally rip your arms off and beat you with them. Like, that's what's going to happen to you, and has happened. You know what I mean? Like, they have done that. So we don't share a single bone or muscle structure with these great apes. So how do we come from them, right?
And the other thing you got to think of as well is how more advanced we are than them. If we have evolved from that, how come we're a million years ahead of them and they haven't caught up with us?
That's right. That's right. They haven't, do they act like us, right?
Mish is asking, we can have pig organs, apparently. I think the eye is the closest in similarity. Their eyes are
yes.
closest
Yeah. We're very similar. right? Yeah.
Mm.
But the other thing about mammals as well is that every other mammal species apart from us is born ready to go. You know?
Yeah, but I think they have also a longer cycle, a gestation period.
Yeah, but
The larger
again,
ones.
they're not ready to go. We're not ready to go. We're
Oh,
practically
that's right.
useless until we're, if we're boys, it's like 50 or something, right? So,
Yeah,
yes.
I think it's like
Um,
I can't remember now. But I was watching one of the doggos there. Like the elephants, I think they carry them for like 2 years.
yeah, they can. They can,
Yeah,
right?
and it's like,
Uh,
geez, no, that's. But obviously our structures aren't built for that kind of, yeah, a 2-year-old stuck inside us.
yeah. But you would think that, yeah, I mean, there's like, they'll go to a horse or a calf or a kangaroo or anything else like that.
Mm.
They're ready to go within a few hours. They're up and walking around.
Yeah,
Um, However, not
Roos not so
us.
much. They stayed in the pouch for a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, Roo's not so much, but even then, you know what I mean. They're up and about pretty
Yeah.
soon,
But yeah, even I think koalas and monkeys, like they sort of know what to do straight away. Like they'll cling to the mother and hold on, but they are still, yeah, I mean, like they're still kind of mobile in their own sense.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. And look, there is multiple hominid species. Homo floresiensis, Homo erectus was the one I was talking about. And you got to remember too that we are Homo sapien, right? We're not Homo sapien. So we've already evolved once. No one has none of the. Well, I think that, and again, you sort of talk about different animals, right? Dolphins have a very similar prefrontal cortex to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's to say that another
Who's
species
sorry, mate, go. You,
hasn't already evolved and is more advanced? And I think they look
Quite possible.
quite possible. You know what I mean? I think
dinosaurs.
Alex used the term ultra terrestrials in the last show and one of the
Yeah.
shows that we did as well.
Mhm.
You know, it wouldn't take much for you to convince me to believe that there's something living under the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? That,
This is something we've
like,
discussed a lot in the past too, in
yeah,
previous episodes.
yeah.
Like, we're pretty well agreeable when it comes to ancient civilizations well and truly before us occupied this earth and
Absolutely.
advanced so much, and they're the ones that are actually literally flying around our planet right now.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me at all. I mean, the other thing is too, yeah, again, multiple species, right? Again, reptilian species. There's, I did, I didn't invite Angus over tonight. Probably should have. However, yeah, there's the dinosaurs had 130 million years to evolve. You know what I mean? To develop,
Mm.
right? The other thing about the hominid species and Homo sapiens sapien is that there was something found in Europe not that long ago that was 400,000 years old. There was a Homo sapiens sapien skeleton. If you believe some of the footprints, like there was footprints found that were millions of years old somewhere in the Mediterranean. There's all these different weird things that keep blowing the timeline right out, or the understood timeline right out.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day saying that they found a skull or a skeleton that is now 1.6 million. So that blows the 1.4 million time frame out of the water. I could be wrong, but I did see something.
No, I think it was. Yeah. And look, Tardo, you're totally right, mate. You're totally right because, again, if you fire a 50 caliber sniper rifle shell point blank into a pool, it stops within 3 meters, right? 3 feet, I think. I remember the Mythbusters did it back in the day.
Yeah. Doing the movie busters.
Yeah, we did watching the Mythbusters. Yeah, however, and I've spoken about this on my show. It's like how many cataclysms. If you're an advanced civilization, that's been occupying this planet on and off for hundreds of thousands of years, the amount of cataclysm or potential cataclysmic events that have happened on this planet in the last 250,000 years is something like 25, right? How many would you go through before you figured out that if you went under the ocean and nothing much changes? You know what I mean? Like it's a safe place to hang out. And yeah, you had the Homo floresiensis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Denisovan, Homo sapiens sapien, and basically, we either bred them out or killed them. You know what I mean? That's what we did to every single one of those races. But the reason I bring this up is that never gets. No one adds the Paracas skulls into it. Okay. And I'll read the little blurb here I put in the slideshow. DNA testing was done on some of the remains and skulls in 2015. It was found the mitochondrial DNA from the mother presented mutations suggested we are dealing with a completely new human-like being, very distant from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, or Denisovans. Now, since 2015, further testing has been done on the Paracas skulls because it was thought for the longest time that it was just head bind, because there's a number of cultures on the planet that do head binding. But again, why do they do head binding, boys? So they can look like they're gods.
Ancestors.
Yeah.
Gods.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're gods. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's it. They're doing it because that's the gods who taught them everything, right?
Yeah. Or could they be ancestors?
Well, they could be ancestors. The curious thing is the red hair. That's no joke. There's red hair on these skulls still, right? It's weird as. There's multiple skulls with this weird red hair on them. And I think it's Brian Forrester, I think, and his team actually tested the size, the CC of these skulls, right? The cylinder size, you know what I mean? How many pistons we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was well, you can see even the brow and the eye sockets and that's different to us. You know what I mean? It's similar, similar but different. And the CC of the skull is something like 50 or 60 cc's larger than ours. That basically rules out head binding because when you bind a head, the CC of the head doesn't change. They just basically wrap a rubber band around your head when you're a kid, sort of thing, which I'm sure is good for you.
Totally.
However, it's the Paracas skulls get left out. I mean, that's a whole, and there's thousands of these things, boys.
I was about to ask you, like, how many of these things have they found?
Thousands in Peru.
Where are the bodies?
But is it only Peru?
Where are the bodies?
Yeah,
yes, it is only Peru.
What's going on there then?
Right, it's only Peru. Right, have you still got the tab open with the Mexican bodies? Can you bring that up quickly?
Actually, no, I think I've booted that by accident.
Can't bring it up, bloody hell! Do you see I was relying on you to help me out?
Oh no, sorry, I can bring that up.
No, I mean, and this is the thing. This is sort of the roundabout way to get to the Mexican bodies is people leave the Paracas skulls behind. No one wants to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and there's all these things that we do. You know, you want to talk about the Egyptian pharaoh list. You know, the Zep Tepi. They use the pharaoh's kings list. Hang on, here we go. Ta-da! Now it's not the same. However, it's not dissimilar either. Right? Can we read that? The one with the head there, mate. Do you want to pull the one? Yeah, one of them. Yeah, so that's a little bit different, right? That's more of a traditional, but again, not dissimilar, right? Still elongated head. The brow's a bit different there, obviously. However, there is a different. The reason I'm bringing these up is there was a different species found in Peru already, but no one wants to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we can use the Sumerian kings list until the kings start living for 10,000 years, and then they were just lying about that. That's all bullshit. Right? We can use the pharaohs list until it goes back 30,000 years, and then no one wants to talk about it. You know, it's like, oh no, it's all good, it's correct, but you know, once we get to the stuff that doesn't suit our narrative, then you know, it's all over.
Where did the X-ray go?
And where's the bodies? Where's the bodies?
Why is that one so different to the rest of it?
Well, there was multiple of those little bodies, wasn't there?
There was two of them,
sure. Yeah.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Hang on, what's this one here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's different again. Completely different compared to that guy. What's going on here?
I wonder if what we're looking at there is like a male and a female.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But why is this face different to these ones here? If these are the bodies.
I think the one on the one in the square is the one on the left.
That's all right. Misha's sending us on. She gave us Subaru. She's sending us on another rabbit hole. Paris
Where is she?
Hilton's baby has an interesting head shape. Have you seen it?
Yeah. She's been poked that many times there. I'm sure she's going to have some
Yeah.
damage.
Yes.
They had a bigger brain, eye sockets, and the neck, positioned further back for the weight of the skull.
Mhm.
The thing
That's
is,
right.
Jane, I haven't seen any of the bodies, right? The bodies aren't. There's all these skulls, but none of the bodies are forthcoming. Apparently, Forrester has bodies, but basically they found the skulls somewhere in Peru. So it's like we accept all this stuff, but then you could literally go to a museum in Peru today and see this one here with the red hair on it. And it's bigger than ours, bigger eye sockets, all that. And they just leave it out of the story. I'm not sure about the Black Sea thing, Jane. I'm not sure about that. That's an interesting question.
Immigrated from around the Black Sea. Is that these little bodies you're talking about, or talking about
No,
these?
the Paracas.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is, so if you want to, let's leave the Black Sea alone for a second. There's multiple cultures throughout Africa, South America, in Asia as well, where they do head binding to look like they're gods, right? The Egyptians did it for a period of time as well. There's multiple Egyptian stelas and drawings and stuff that have elongated skulls. And they used to practice head binding, right? And again, it's all to look throughout their gods. So they could have come from the Black Sea, or they could have come from anywhere, right? And these things, these beings, the gods, are always depicted as larger as well. You know what I mean? It's it's interesting, right?
So I was going to keep touching a bit more on the Mexican thing here. Like, obviously, like it's a big claim that the Mexicans have come forward with these bodies, and scientists are apparently investigating these, researching into these and whatnot. Why hasn't anyone else? Well, I think they even said like they're opening it up for all universities to come through and have a crack at these things. Why has no one like having a crack? Like, there's no data on this. Like, this is like what, September these came out, I think it was. I can't remember now. Like, there's been a full month now. Like, surely someone's had a crack, and like it doesn't take that long to go and analyze something. And go, okay, these guys are genuine when they say that these things are 1,000 years old. Like, where's Harvard and all these other universities? And like, where are they coming in? Why aren't they here?
Like I said at the start, mate, the most interesting thing about the Mexican skulls is the fact that they disappeared out of the media like that.
Yeah.
That's the telltale sign.
Did it even get touched on in Australia's media? I didn't even.
Yeah, it was on news.com and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was on the news for a day or two.
No, not news. I'm talking about like Australian media, like like Today Show or Sunrise, whatever it was. It was on there.
It was on something. It wasn't on mainstream, but I did see something that they did make a report to say that a Mexican's government has released this information. But like Triff said, it was only for like 24 hours, 48 hours, and it was the next story. Same thing sort of happened with David Crush.
Yeah, and then the Mexicans had the doctors look at it. There you go. There's the X-ray. Pull that one up.
I can get a good image of that one, but we'll see if we go.
Yeah.
No, I want video.
So that's them basically. That's the article on the. There you go.
What is that?
Yeah. Well, this is how about the eggs in the Mexican body, right? You can sort of see there on the right-hand side there, right?
So as you're saying there, like one was male and one was maybe female.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, look, I it's reasonable to assume that from Alex, yeah.
But I want to know what this shoulder chest plate thing or whatever it is, like a strap or maybe metallic. Is it bone? I don't know. Like how the
why is that? X-ray. Yeah, why is that in the X-ray? Why is that highlighted? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what's
that's
picking that up
there on the collarbone?
Yeah. And again, how quickly this was dismissed as well is a bit of a flag for me as well. You know what I mean? It's like if all of a sudden it just gets dismissed, then what are we talking about here?
Yeah. So is it actually genuine and they've just shafted it off? Just trying to keep
well, I mean, like I said, I followed it for a little while, and a whole heap of Mexican doctors, and they took all the X-rays and did all the testing, and they said, yeah, it's not from around here. And everyone went, oh, yeah, cool, it's not from around here. And then it disappeared.
Yeah.
Right?
Why isn't everyone losing their shit?
It's the disappearing. Yeah, no one cares.
No one cares.
Well, look, World War III is a hop, skip, and a jump away, but we can't talk about that.
No.
So, boys, do you want to finish with some down under stuff?
Let's do it. What do you got in mind?
Sure.
Well, bring the slides back up, mate, if you don't mind.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, how
I
about
thought
that?
we had a slide going on. I thought went around the world then. Sorry, mate.
Again, this is all, remember I made this slideshow to fit into like a 2-hour window or an hour and a half
Yep.
window. But I got some really interesting questions from those guys. It was a pleasure talking to them, and they were very open-minded. However, let's finish a little bit closer to home. So here's something that I know I've been trying to show you boys as well. This is and for those that don't know, this is the Australia Stonehenge. Okay, and then what you see here is the actual the physical documents, the survey documents that were taken of Australia's Stonehenge back in the 1930s, which was just outside Mullumbimby. A good friend of mine, Richard Patterson, he, like full Indiana Jones style, found these things in a filing cabinet. It's a weird ass story. However, this was a computer rendition that he did of it. All right, because obviously that's it, because of the paper in the 1930s. It's sort of big sheets laid out, but if you look at it all, that's actually what it's supposed to look like. Now, what I want to highlight here is these 7 stones. Okay. Now, also, you need to note, see the ones with color, like the red and the green and that, like that?
Mhm.
They're all crystals, or they were crystals because they don't exist anymore, right? These are actually massive crystals. And what's interesting about the crystal side of things is that the Crystal Castle down in Mullumbimby, actually a really cool place to go and visit. They've got some amazing stones there. However, crystal trade and trading stones is something that the Mullumbimby area has been known for since time immemorial, right? Now, the curious thing is this. If you draw this is here in Mullumbimby, and I know, or outside Mullumbimby, I know where it is. It's a dairy farm now, and it was knocked over in 1948 by the farmer and his son. And Richard had the privilege of speaking to the farmer before he passed. However, if you draw a straight line from these 7 stones across the ocean, because this is facing due east, right? Mullumbimby is also the easternmost point of Australia. You draw a line due east across the ocean on Easter Island. No, I stick with Australia. On East, it depends on which slideshow it is. On Easter Island, there's only 7 statues that face out, boys. All the other statues face into the island. There's only 7 statues that face out, and it's the classic ones that you see, the ones standing up there, right? Number one, those statues have bodies, for those that don't know that, and they actually have bodies with the hands around the stomach, which is mirrored in Göbekli Tepe and across South America and stuff like that. But if you draw a straight line, absolutely, Mish, that is definitely one of the areas you want to use LiDAR on. Yes, absolutely. We send the drone up, we put in a grid coordinate. No one would even know. We come back. Yes, definitely. I want the LiDAR area all over Mullumbimby. Yes, and the Mount Warning, absolutely. Yeah, there's some spots there. Basically, these 7 pillars line up with the 7 sisters, or the 7 Easter Island heads. Direct straight line.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome.
It's crazy, right? And these, like I said, the Australian story. As I say, given the resources, boys, we need to disappear into the cold era around Mullumbimby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to disappear in there for a couple of weeks, or at least a week, and just follow our nose. I reckon there's some stuff. Every part of my being tells me there's a stone circle in there somewhere. And you might think I'm crazy. Standing stones in northern New South Wales. Yeah, standing stones in northern New South Wales. Oh, there's another rendering. That was an earlier rendering that Richard did. And And yeah, you can see, so if you go back here, see some of these big ones and stuff like that in the documentation, which I've actually sat and held the documents and read them, and it's crazy stuff. A guy called Frederick Slater did that. So the Strongs have done some work on that as well. I haven't read their book on him yet, but yeah, he did these ones because theoretically some of these big ones were massive crystals, boys, like massive.
Wow.
And the idea being is that you go from the dark to the light. Okay. Now, the other bit we need to join together with the Gosford glyphs and stuff like that is that people came from all over the world to come to do this. Okay. What did we start with? The fact that science and spirituality are deemed separate does a disservice to them both. Okay. So now we come back to that, because what's that there, right? What's this here? Everybody has seen this symbol all over the world. It's a medicine wheel. Okay. Now, if we are to believe that the documentation is correct and all that is, this is the oldest standing stone structure, or was the oldest standing stone structure in the world by a fair margin, right? And the oldest representation of the medicine wheel found anywhere. Okay. So basically what you would do is you would travel from one side to the other. Oh, by the way, the mound that this is on is man-made as well too. But you would travel from one to the other, and basically shamans would meet you on your path, and you would start in the darkness, probably just before dawn somewhere, and you would do this ritual, and you would start in the darkness, face the ritual, and then you would end up in the light.
The path of enlightenment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jane's asking, how old do you think these stones are or were?
Potentially, look, prior to the cataclysm, I would say.
Yeah,
I think this is evidence of the prior civilization. There's also there's a big what's it called? There's a big column of basalt place there as well on the north coast. There, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's a big, massive column of basalt bay where some of these stones, and we can see some of them here. This stuff here is like column of basalt, right? Now, kudos to Richard for these photos. He's a good mate of mine. He loves me using his stuff as long as I say his name. You know what I mean? He's a good bloke. But next time you drive into Mullumbimby, hang on, no, we didn't go that far. Again, sorry, boys. There's behind every slide, there's another 30 slides that I haven't done. But next time, if you want to go to Mullumbimby, keep an eye out. There are standing stones all over the north in that area, everywhere. They're everywhere. Right, this is one of probably 15 or 20 standing stones that you can find just in the general area around Mullumbimby. And the story goes, who put the stone there? I don't know. It's always been there. Right. And again, some of these stones are quite large, right? You know, you're not just going to, Anthony might be able to chuck one on his shoulder, but we can't, you know what I mean? Like, so this is real stuff, boys. Right, and the echoes are real, right? And yeah, it's good. I found part of my process recently as I've been cleaning up my shed. It got a bit messy, and I found my field kit. Like I've got chisels and hammers and scrapers and magnets and balancers and whatever, right? But yeah, the caldera around Mount Warning in there, it's all national park. You can get in there. Yeah, we need to send a LiDAR around that caldera, and we need to hang around there about winter solstice or summer solstice is where we need to go. Because it's definitely real. But yeah, I thought I would. This is I don't know if I've showed you boys this on the.
Probably did some stage there, but yes,
I think you showed me a couple. Yeah.
No, I might have sent these pictures to you personally. It's very.
Oh yeah.
I haven't. Look, this is the first time I've shown these photos publicly on a live stream for sure. So this is a genuine unlocking the code discovery, okay, that I nicknamed the imprint because I don't have anything else to name it, basically. Now, the most curious thing we can see here is that it's a complete and perfect right angle, okay? There are no right angles in nature, boys.
No.
Okay. There's a couple of better photos of it, right? Now, we can sort of see if we and you can see it's not small, right? So what have we got? 10 centimeters, 25 centimeters long. Again, whatever did that. Now you got to. This is in what is called an axe grinding place. Okay, in the Glasshouse Mountains, right? You can go there. It's a tourist spot, and there's all these indigenous axe grinding grooves. Now the curious part about the spot where this is it's neutral ground, right? It's a river. It's where the river meets. It's where you could go and sharpen your axe stones. You could go and wash your food, have a clean yourself. Women were welcome, men, children, right? It was a neutral area for the indigenous. Now, if you were going to leave something behind, you would leave it in an area that is neutral, because an area that is neutral does not get destroyed, right? No one's going to destroy the good spot. Now, there's a highway like 2 meters from 5 meters from this imprint now. But I mean, that's the other thing too. Most of the roads that wind through the mountains are the old tracks, okay? The old indigenous tracks, because they took the shortest route, you know what I mean? So they just widen the track and send the car through, basically. However, you can see it here, right? And it's got these little hook things that are there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
And this sort of looks like these sort of look like 80s sunglasses. You know what I mean? Like the whole bloody.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That sort of looks like a. That looks
so
like
you're drawing bum then.
Yeah, that's. We'll just get rid of that. But yeah, so basically, this is a sandstone. Now, this sandstone does split in straight lines, and actually, we have evidence of it in that picture there, right? So we can see. Come on. So we can see ignore the imprint. Look at this, right? You can see the crack in the stone. Okay.
Yep.
So this type of sandstone does crack in almost right angles all by itself. Okay. Now, again, we can see that this was done in one pass, right? Whatever did this, the reason I call it an imprint is that if you look at it, it looks like it's just been pushed into it, right? And, it looks like some sort of frame or holder or something. That's right. Good. I thought I had these photos. So here it is here. Okay. Because I went and did a full field trip on this. You can sort of see the amount of dirt and shit that was around it. I dug it all out. And you can see again, there's no right angles in nature, boys, right? So they're fairly straight. So what I did is I took a sample of the sandstone, because it was splitting all over the place there. I took a chunk and I sent it away to I should know that when we discovered these, we're actually on a field trip with the Jinnabara. Okay. We were with elders with the Jinnabara who were talking to us about the axe grinding site in particular. And we found this, right? And we went to the elders of the area and said, "What's this?" And they said, "Got no idea. No one knows." Right. And basically we said, "Can we research?" And they're like, "Yeah, do whatever you want. No one knows what it is." But it's, again, same thing. What's the story? It's been there, no one really knew what it was, and it's been there for the whole time. So I sent all these photos that I had, all these ones that I did, and I sent all these photos. I sent these photos, and I sent a sample of the sandstone down to a stonemason friend of mine in Melbourne, who also because he works in stone, knows a geologist. Oh, look, Mish, with the boomerang comment, before I keep going, if we go back one, what the stonemason said basically was that's been, and the geologist has said it's been cut or set into there, and it's a right angle. There's no, and what the stonemason said is it hasn't been done by modern tools, because there's no modern tool that could cut sandstone and actually make a right angle turn without completely splintering it. You know what I mean? And so the geologist actually analyzed the sandstone and basically came back to me and said that's this sand. In order for that imprint to be made, well, no, he said that this sandstone's melting point is 2,000 plus degrees Celsius.
Crikey.
Right. So because again, we go back, we could look at the other, and again, this is normally covered in water, boys, right? Like you say, it was all leaves and stuff. Like, this is actual dirt that I dug around from it. you can sort of see how much I had to clean it all out. And yeah, there's a heap of other field photos that aren't in this list here. However, yeah, what is that? You know what I mean? And by the way, I've sent pictures of that imprint all over the world, and everyone comes back and says, "That's really curious. I've got no idea what that is." Right? It is evidence of some sort of technology. You know what I mean? It's. I mean, what do you boys think? What do you think it is?
I was just kind of with an idea then. Could it have been used for smeltering as the casting form?
That's what I was just
Yes.
thinking. Could it be a mold?
So, yes, exactly right. So you would think that. Okay, so it used to be, because it's a neutral point, it used to be a stop on the Cobb and Co track, right? Because it's also on the river that runs through there, so water for the horses. So there was actually a station or a stop along the track there for the longest time. And so what I did is I went into wagon manufacturer, and because I thought maybe it's some sort of, like you say, mold or bracket, or some sort of stand or something like that. And there's nothing that I can see. I mean, understanding too that I grew up in Ballarat and Victoria, and I spent periods of time every year at Sovereign Hill, and they build the horse and carts still there properly. There's nothing anything to do with that. You may be unsurprised to hear that it does resemble, the closest thing I've seen it resembles is some sort of Masonic symbol, which maybe is not too much of a surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's loose, but it's the closest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I come up with a casting idea, but I can't figure out its purpose if it was for that.
Well, see, the other curious thing the geologist said is he said this stone has been cut.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was going to question that one.
Right, this is actually a cut that's made out of the stone. So, what if this imprint is the stand that holds the stone cutter? You know what I mean?
Ooh.
How far apart were they?
That's the imprint, right?
Oh, that's so then that's Sorry.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Yeah.
So what about the little section there where that's been cut out there? That little divot, has that been cut out too? Do you think?
This in here?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. There, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, in here. So this sort of. Yeah. Look, the geologist basically look, because this sandstone, you can see evidence of it there. Like you can see, there's a split along there. One of the problems he had with it is he said, look, this sandstone is known to break in almost right angles, and if you walk around the site, that is definitely true, right? You can see where some of the rock is split and it's almost in a right angle. To the point where I got quite excited until the geologist said, no, it breaks in right angles, right? I thought, it's a quarry. And he's like, no. And he sent me multiple examples of it breaking naturally in right angles or in blocks. I want to believe, man. You know what I mean?
What about the top section there above the
this one here?
The other side, up in there. Like,
I haven't. Look, the thing is that because of the way the stone breaks, and the thing is, maybe that's why they tried to cut this stone, because it almost breaks in right angles. There's a whole folder of 100 and something photos that I took that day, and I ran around with this little right angle thing and put it in every corner. And after the geologist said no, that's probably not true, I went back and reviewed all the photos, and I have been back there since, not for a proper field trip. I sort of, because depending which way you go to the Sunshine Coast, you can actually just pass through there. And yeah, I do want to. I went back. Well, the other reason I went back there, because all around the site is these holes, right? That are like perfectly bored out holes. Now the story goes that the indigenous would use those to round off their stones, right? Because one of their tools they had, that have a round stone on one end, and they use the holes to round the stones. Sandstone's pretty soft. That makes sense. However, there's also tell of basically constellations, right? Where basically you fill the holes full of water, and if you had a clear sky and no foliage above you at a certain period of year, a constellation would line up with those holes.
Wow.
So that the last field trip that I went back, I tried to do that. Unfortunately, I would say that's probably not the case at that site. It's not to say that it has been proven in other sites in Australia as well, especially down near Gosford, where the glyphs are. There's a plateau up there with all these holes in it, and yeah, that is definitely a constellation. However, yeah, like I said, boys, the Aussie there's the Aussie story. There's more to be told here, right?
There is absolutely.
And yeah, I've got plenty more. I've got the preparation stones on a different slideshow, and you know, there's a whole raft of research and information that is, like I said, given the resources, we could blow the whole thing out of the water. I'm pretty sure about that. It's just a time and resource thing. And yeah, as I say, I respect all the people that do all the research that they have done, and it's definitely helped me along the way to try and build my interpretation, because that's all it is, boys. You know what I mean? Like I put this slideshow together. It is just an interpretation. The bottom line is we don't know. However, to me, my interpretation makes sense, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'm only following the breadcrumbs and unlocking the code. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, yeah, that's all right. No, that's fine.
You know?
There's a lot of like, it sort of makes me wonder, like that little. Just go back for a second. That nope, no, the next one's the right. Yep, that little nook there and the little pathway up to the next level seems like it's done with some sort of purpose for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. The geologist said it was cut, right? He's got
Mm.
like, that has been cut. He goes, I've got no doubt in my mind that this whole section here has been cut, which would lend, and then again, okay, so let's expand, let's suspend our belief systems for a second and say that it is the mounting point for a cutting machine. These cutting machines that cut the stone, I would say, have something to do with sound, light, magnetics, vibration, right? Who's to say? Or look, part of what I think the technology was actually the ability to interrupt the molecules of the stone somehow, again, through vibration, energy, light, sound. Okay. So if you had a mounting plate that you were going to put your little thing on, so you'd cut some stone, you just hit the little button and it'd go and just sort of melt in there, right? The stone.
Someone's saying on the basically, what about the stone cut out on Oak Island? Could they be the same? I'm not sure. I'm familiar with the Oak
Are
Island.
we referring to the ones that were probably more Nordic and
yes,
Viking?
well, look, stone cutting technology, guys. You know, there's another whole bit of research, and you know, as I say, behind these screens, there's 14 or 15 folders. They keep finding scoop marks everywhere, right? That's another part of the technology. The scoop marks on the obelisk, the unfinished obelisk in Egypt, are very prominent, but they found them in Peru. They found them. There's some that actually look pretty similar on there seem to be some on the Stonehenge in England. They had the ability to manipulate stone, right? Cut it, shape it, mold it, fold it. Who knows? You know what I mean? And how did they use that? I don't know. How did they do it? I don't know. But is that a technology that we don't have today? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, there's these look, they did a bloody good job of destroying everything here in Australia. However, there's you know, this big brown land's still got some secrets to tell. And you know, our part in this story, whether it be an extraterrestrial origin story, out of this world tech, you could say that. Yeah,
definitely.
You could say that, right? Or do we say just a different understanding? You know what I mean? Like, what would have happened if we had to embrace Tesla instead of, you know, like, where would we be now?
Yeah. The technology found as voodoo, and so they killed him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's the guy who invented the computer? I can't remember his name.
Mr.
The
Computer.
guy, no, the guy who did he did the cipher, the Enigma machine. He built the computer to basically beat the Enigma machine in the 1940s. Benedict Cumberbatch played him in a movie.
Oh,
Turing.
yeah.
Charles
So,
Babbage?
no, Turing. Ian Turing? Someone Turing? Because the Turing test is basically but Turing, you know, and it's how far have we come? Because Turing was castrated for being gay, and basically killed himself. However,
Coral Castes?
coral
Oh,
cast
sorry.
that
No.
could
Coral
shape
Castle.
stone, so Coral
Oh,
Castle. Yeah, look, I mean, the casting stones and concrete and stuff like that. I think there is something to that as well, Misha. One of the things I really try and make sure that I do is that I'm saying D all of the above, right? I'm not saying it's this, that, or the other thing. You know, I'm not gonna be on a team, right? Which is why I'm not on anyone's team. I'm on Team Human, and we just need to figure out what this is. But if you had the ability to cut and mold stone, could you make concrete? Yeah, right. Why is the Roman concrete still strong now, and we can't build a fucking road to save our lives? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know,
You
right?
know, like what the mortar that holds the pyramid stones at the Great Pyramid. The only thing you can find on the internet is it's what's the wording?
Unknown
It's
substance.
unknown substance or something like that. But it's something it's very strong, but it has an unknown substance that binds it. Right. So
Yeah.
how are the walls in Peru staying together? You know what I mean? Like, when you zoom out from some of this stuff, right? Yeah, cool. The cool cutting the stone is cool. But in order to we underestimate, because it's part of our daily lives, we underestimate how difficult it is to even create a bloody right angle. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
you've got to know angles. You've got to know the square. You've got to know trigonometry. You've got to know, you know what I mean? Like, there is so many levels of technology and understanding, like I said at the start, science and spirituality, right? There is so many different levels that you need to even contemplate before you get to this. You know, and I think for me, whilst I would love to go to the pyramids, I really my soul needs to stand there and stare at those things. Yeah,
Jane's saying, don't
absolutely.
forget, in the Blue Mountains,
Yeah,
there's
I know.
stonework there that looks carved and shaped,
Yes,
and some of it
yes.
looks melted.
That's where we need the LiDAR as well, Jane. Absolutely. Yeah, look, as I say, given the resources, I would disappear into the Blue Mountains. I'd disappear into northern New South Wales. I would disappear into some of the river systems around Gympie. You know what I mean? Like, I'd take a boat along the Kings River in Mullumbimby very, very slowly, looking for evidence of, basically, they found Egyptian anchor stones there. They found some hieroglyphs carved into stones there. Like I said, the evidence is there. I think the key to putting this evidence out is to be objective, right? I'm not saying that it's aliens from another universe. I'm saying that maybe we were intervened with and advanced, and there was definitely something. There was an advanced civilization that existed prior to us, and I do agree with Graham Hancock with that. And I think he stole it from someone else, but basically, we are a species with amnesia.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't know what we don't know. And the bottom line is we don't know, boys. Right?
That's right.
Which is the whole reason that it's only ever an unlocking the code interpretation. I'm taking the same data that everybody else is taking, but I think because it's such an eclectic load of data, the dots can be joined. Actually, this is this is fresh stuff, but one of the other coders, Ben, I was looking at some Gobekli Tepe stuff, some Quran Tepe stuff. There is a carving, a carving in Quran Tepe or Gobekli Tepe that is basically exactly the same as a cave painting here in Australia. Like
Wow.
exactly the same.
Interesting. That's cool.
Like, yeah, very, very, very similar. You know, that also comes back to the triptych stuff as well. Eric von Daniken, yes, yeah.
100%. Yes.
Eric von Daniken actually came and saw Australia's Stonehenge. He went to the site. He got access to the site with Richard back in the day. Graham actually went there as well. Graham Hancock went there as well. What about the nuclear sites in the 50s? Yeah, that's exactly right. Why did they choose some of those sites is a very interesting question. You know, like there's
definitely what did get destroyed.
Yeah.
Look, there's a you know, we're probably at the end of tonight's episode, boys. However, it's you know, there's another a line of thinking that there has been a systematic destruction of whatever the truth really is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know,
or it's been taken away, hidden away from prying eyes.
Yeah. Well, what did we say about Otis Carr? You know what I mean? Like, I think he got 15 years prison for 15 grand fraud or something. Like, that's a bit. It's a bit dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, that's you know, like they do this. It echoes and echoes and echoes, right? Yeah. Look, Rex Gilroy is very interesting. I was very I entered into negotiations with Rex over before he got very sick, quite a few years ago now, 2017, 2018, to actually come on Unlocking the Code. Unfortunately, he's since passed away. His work is very, very, very valuable. And I really want to get down to one of the guys, Greg Foster, I think, who still runs the pages. Yeah, I don't know. Uru's an interesting thing. Yeah, and probably, and again, it's my eye. I don't have. Some people seem to have an eye where they see stuff in stone. Okay, I'm not saying they don't see it. I'm not saying they do see it. I don't see a lot of that stuff, some of that stuff, but I reckon probably I've looked at a lot of Rex's videos and photos and stuff over the years, and yeah, there's a lot of his stuff that's very, very, very fascinating. And Uru could be, Jane. You know what I mean? It could be just another name for it. You know, the thing is, you know, the interesting, you know, and we don't think about this stuff. We don't know what these people called themselves because we don't know what they were called. We've called them that. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest thing throughout history, isn't it, too? The same thing.
Yeah, Victor writes the story, basically. You know?
Absolutely. Well, boys, I think we should probably end it there, right? It's it's been a big night for me, particularly.
Yeah, well, you've done well, mate. You've done well. Yeah, well, I'm glad we got through that. I'm glad we got through that because that's some of the stuff that we've talked about at times here on these live streams, but I hadn't had the information to not to back it up. But that's sort of those slides give me more of a prompter anyway. You know what I mean? It's like that unlocks a little bit in my brain. It's like, oh yeah, that picture you've got to talk about A, B, C, D.
Yeah, that's good. I wish I had something presented like that for when I went to Cardwell there to go and do my little spiel up there. But
speaking of presentation, what's that intro, mate? Bloody hopping through the kangaroo bush and the UFOs, and
mate, that's a shout out to Anthony Ball, mate. He's I was a guest on his radio show a while back there. He hosts a radio show.
When are you going to go and see Kyle and Jackie O, mate?
Yeah, good luck with that one. I'm going straight to the top, mate. I'm going Joe Rogan.
Who listens to radio anymore? I don't know what the popular radio shows are.
I don't know. Yeah, are they even still a thing? Kyle and Jackie? I don't think they're a thing animore, are they?
Oh, I have no idea.
No, they are. They're still around.
Oh, they're still around.
Never go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a shout out to Anthony Ball there. He hosts the Who on FM down in Tasmania there, and he goes, "Oh, look, if you need something, do an animation for me." I'm like, mate, I need a new intro. I need something that's bloody bit spiffy, you know. And he's done that up for me. He's like, yeah, so shout out to him, mate. He's done well with that one. I love it.
Yeah, good on you, Tato.
I was going to comment.
Sorry, you go, mate.
Sorry. I actually was going to comment when it started. I was like, this is a really good intro. I like the song, bit of dubstep, and good way to start the night.
Yeah, well, the main the music's the intro to my podcast as
Yeah,
it
that's
is
the
there.
same.
So
That's the
it's like,
same. Yeah.
and then he's just incorporated it all together, and I was like, yep, done well. He's put a bit of like a a bit of
No, I
Australian
like
theme
it,
to
man.
it there, with a bit of
Yeah, I think that's
a
awesome, man.
warped up sort of didgeridoo behind it too,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
like,
No,
yep,
it's cool.
It's like,
It's well done.
he's done really well.
It's well done.
So what's
No, and
sorry.
Tardo's saying fantastic show tonight. Hit all the good bits. Yeah, look, and that's that's the reason I came back, and Anthony made me get back on the microphone, is that I had this to present, and I knew that we'd hit these things before, but we didn't have I didn't have the pictures. You know what I mean? Like, well, I do, but it's because I did that presentation, I had the time to put the slideshow together to present some of this stuff. So. Thanks, mate.
This is something we love doing too, like getting together there and talking shit and having a bit of a laugh and diving down to this forever-ending wormhole. It's just keeps going and going.
Oh,
and
it just
going,
never it never ends.
Oh.
And then again, the whole thing behind this is there's UFOs behind all this stuff. UAPs behind all this stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. And not to mention everyone in the comments there just getting
I
involved.
love it. I love the comments. Yeah.
It's
I
great.
can't believe Subaru's the Palladium. That's like that's fantastic. That's fantastic. If Mish, if you're still there, that's awesome.
Mind blown.
I'm gonna be that's gonna be going into my group's chats over the next couple of days. Did you know?
Maybe they're behind all the UFOs.
Maybe
that's the same. Like, why don't they
UFO,
have the technology with the UFO? The UFO.
Where's my flying car? Where's my hoverboard? Yeah.
Seth Century wrote a song about.
Yeah.
Where's my hoverboard?
Yeah, that was good. That was great, guys. Thanks very much. And for some reason I can't say no to Anthony. He gets me back on.
Mate, we'll do it again, Anthony.
Well done.
just want to get in his celebrity bubble, mate. That's what I'm.
Yeah. I'm dragging you with me. So yeah. You're coming with me, boys.
Hey, we're gonna be. Is it Take 5? That's Life. Is it Take 5? Is that the other one? Is that the other magazine? Needs to be.
I don't know. Oh yeah, there is it's a Take 5. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The other.
I didn't even know there was a magazine called That's Life. To tell you the truth, I'm like, who's the hell?
Oh yeah, of course you did. Yeah. You've only got it framed in your bedroom.
Yeah, I've got it right next to actually.
Hey.
Well, the kids got to it, and
we have to special order it in down here.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Hang on, there we go. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that shit. Hang on, it's not showing up.
And it's a double page spread.
It's a double page, everything. Yeah,
double banger.
No, it's cool, man. Listen. Look,
well
I appreciate that, and this sort of stuff's got to get into the mainstream. It's not a bad thing, and I plug your show all the time, man. I think it's a very valuable thing that you do, and that's that's probably half the reason I can't say no to you, because I think it's
you're making me blush now.
It's part of the it's part of the Tardo loves his Forester even more now. He's going
to. But look, honestly, like I don't do all this for the fame and all sorts of shit. I couldn't give it.
That's what they all say. Yeah.
Well, mate, if I was going for it, I'll be trying to monetize the whole thing, wouldn't I? I don't give a shit.
No, I know exactly. Yeah, this is.
But I've got no interest in the fame. Like, obviously, if the name gets out there, good, and I hope it brings cause to what I'm trying to do. Like, like we're all trying to do. We're trying to bring the truth into everything there. Like, everything. People have seen strange things. There's a history behind all this. Whether that's the ultimate thing why we do what we do is because we want the truth to be right and bring credibility to everything. So that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're so passionate.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, it's a passion project. So awesome, boys. Well, until next time.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. That's cool.
All right. Till next time, boys. All right. I'll do a little spiel and catch us. Thanks for joining us again, Alex.
Take care, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
See ya.
Right, thanks everyone. That's been a long night, and thanks for joining us there. So a big shout out to Tardo, Jane. We've got Radioactive there, and Mish for sure. Brendan, there's got a few Facebook users there. So just remember, guys, if you're going to come on these chats here in the comments there, make sure you hit that little allow button there. It's at the top of the comments there. You'll see it in the chat there from StreamYard there. Make sure you accept that there, so then your name comes up through the chat there, so we can give you a bit of a shout out. We've got Tardo still going there, Mish cracking through it. Northside Hawk come into it as well. Thanks for joining us there, and Alex there through there, and the girls there joining us at the start of the podcast there. So thanks for joining us there, girls, and too bad you couldn't see us through the rest of the show. A bit past your bedtime, but yeah. Either way, guys, don't forget to hit that like button there and share it out to wherever you need to go and share it to friends and family and whatnot. Also, if you had an experience there, come and join me on the podcast. I'd love to hear about your experience there, as will other people around the world there. Bring your encounters to light. Also, don't forget you can support the podcast there, purchase some merchandise on the online store there. I still need to do a few tweaks here and there to go and fix it up a little bit. But you can get yourself an awesome little shirt like this little doohickey here. I'm going to cover my face up. That's a little gone to shit now because of the damn bloody camera effect here. But yeah, look, guys, thanks for joining me. It's absolutely wonderful having you here on the podcast and live streams there and whatnot. Just absolutely makes it so much more worthwhile there having you in the chat there and discussing with us. We'll be doing this again shortly there. But yeah, till get next time, guys, keep an eye on the Facebook page there if you haven't already. Make sure you have joined the Encounter Down Under Facebook page there to keep up the news and next live streams we'll be doing. And also just make sure you like and subscribe everywhere and just hit that like button and share the crap out of this whole podcast in general. The more likes and shares we get there, it helps the algorithms there and gets the show more noticed. So again, guys, thanks for your support. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next live stream, mate. So all the best, guys, and enjoy. And I'm going to do me awesome little outro thing right here and catch you later.